Welcome, Pathfinders, to the Find the Path podcast actual play of the Hell's Rebels Adventure Path.
Oh, yeah.
Now with more soggy times under the coffee house?
I was going to go with now with more allies, but okay.
Now with more allies also. That would have been a nice one to go with. That would have been.
We made some friends.
All right, strike that back. Just have her jump in with that. She's much better at
Now with more wet bread.
Oh,
Ew.
wet bread.
Why?
Why would you?
We're not ducks, Rick.
I'm not a duck.
And that's bad
You're not
for ducks
supposed to feed
too.
ducks.
Yeah, you're not supposed
If
to
we
do
were
that
the ducks,
anyway,
I would
but-
insist on us being the mighty ducks, for sure.
That's true.
No.
Silver Ravens, nah.
Everybody in
Mighty
flying
ducks.
V formation.
So, yeah, when last we had left our heroes, the Silver Ravens had finished exploring under the Long Roads Coffee House. Wasp nests, specifically the Stormwater Shrine portion of it, had defeated the dire Corby Cough.
And it was
Her
sad.
story was sad.
Yeah. Explode a little bit further before meeting the Fushi sisters. Corva, Jay, Maggie, and Trep.
It was very nice to meet them. After,
Yeah.
we managed to convince them we weren't here to kill them and we weren't bounty hunters working for Click Zincher.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
Convinced the Fushi sisters to give you a hand in your ongoing rebellion.
Indeed.
Or your
Our very baby
Yeah,
early
your
rebellion
nascent
that we
rebellion.
haven't really rebelled.
Baby's first rebellion. I mean, we
Ew.
told them that up front. I mean,
Yeah.
we were just like, oh yeah, now join us. You'll get like 3 gold pieces a day,
Dang.
That'd have been
Yeah,
a lot
I
even
know.
for
We're
Lucia. She'd
totally-
been like, dang, really?
We're totally renaming the wasp's nest the Rookery, right? That's going to be
Oh,
our hideout.
yeah, boy.
That
That'd be fun.
Just going to think of gargoyles every time, though.
there you
Or
go.
the penguin. I think we made that joke, though.
I think
made
we
that
did.
joke.
We're gonna fill the place full of gargoyles and penguins.
One of our hideouts has to be called the Rookery. I'm just saying.
If any of you get a penguin, it has to be that cool penguin that has the bomb on his back.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about
That was best
That's so
penguin.
awful. Find the Path does not endorse animal cruelty, unless
That's
it's
true.
hilarious.
No, he had rocket. It was
They
rocket.
had rockets. They shot
launchers.
rockets
Yeah,
off
they
of their
shot
backs.
rocket launchers at Batman.
These aren't kamikaze penguins.
The penguins waddle out, yell "dude," and then explode.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
It's the cousin of the Doombird. Anyway,
man.
so
The dude
yeah, I
bird.
suppose we're just going to kind of jump back in on things here.
Because there really is only one place left to go.
Everyone jump in the water.
Cesare's not getting in the water. Cesare's going to hang out at the end of the dock and let you athletic people deal with it.
Yeah, that seems... I'm not assuming we're going to find much there.
It's hard to know, really.
Yeah.
So the 5 of you stand here in the, you guess for lack of a better term, also the smuggler's warehouse that was located in the southern portion of this hideout. Stacks of unopened crates surrounding you, some draped in moldering tarps, filling most of the space, creating this maze with the 2 tables sitting in the center of the room, scattered with playing cards. Corva makes her way over, kind of perches on one of the chairs. So, I suppose we'll stay down here until... I think you said that there was a coffee barista that
Coffee
runs
house.
this thing?
Yes.
I mean, she owns the shop, so...
Oh, so...
Her name's Laria Longroad. She will probably want to come meet you.
We'll definitely introduce you.
Okay, well, we'll wait here.
I don't suppose you have investigated the statue that is in the pool outside.
No, Nan told us to stay away from the water, and judging by what happened to Nan after we left him on the dock, probably for good reason. So, I think not.
Cesare nods.
I do know some of the stuff down here was his. I don't know really what to do with it. We took a lot of it just assuming we'd need it if we were going on the run, but if it helps,
What sort of things did he have?
money, some supplies.
Well, that's probably pretty useful.
Some of these crates he said that he was planning on, they're material that he smuggled out when he smuggled us out of Riddleport. So I don't think they have an owner anymore either.
Let's take a look at the stuff.
Consider that our investment in the cause.
Disappreciated.
She bops her head.
Niccolo shrugs and pulls out his crowbar to start opening up crates.
Yep.
Search in the room if you so wish. First off, they're more than welcome to give their bit for the cause.
Cesare does have a writing set, so he will take an inventory.
Oh, nice.
I was going to say, Vittoria's been scribbling notes furiously for a while, too.
Pretty much every time we stop.
This is just like a single sheet of
We need like a
ledger
like a
type
one-page
situations.
manifest of what we've got. So.
Yeah.
So the playing cards that they are using are a simple horror deck.
Oh,
It
that's
is worth
cool.
1 gold piece.
Hey.
I don't know if you want to hang on to them for morale down here or what.
I mean, they can.
I'd
Yeah,
say just
cards.
leave them
Yeah,
at
I
one
mean,
of
I
the
see no
tables.
reason for us to take those.
I'm
Okay.
not sure it was theirs, technically. It might have been Nan's and they were
No.
just using them.
Yeah, but
Well, I mean,
they were using them.
Yeah, I mean, they're welcome to keep them. I'm just saying I don't think it was technically theirs originally.
No. Cracking open 2 of these crates, I suppose Niccolo spins his trusty crowbar. I think someone else said they had the crowbar.
Nope.
Is it just Niccolo?
Nope.
Niccolo spins his trusty crowbar.
I have one.
Love this
Nah.
thing.
Vittoria also has one, so I don't know if
Okay.
you're going to go in there crowbarring.
Sure, why not?
All right. Breakout team of Niccolo and Vittoria. Cracking these open, you find 2 crates filled with embroidered Venetian clothing. Anyone that wishes to may make me a craft check.
I will.
Ooh, crafts.
Okay.
I rolled an 11 for a 15.
Victoria got a 19 for a 27.
Nice.
Very nice.
Cesare rolled a 16, which gets him a 24.
I rolled a 14 for a 19.
I rolled a 6 for a 6.
Embroidered clothing. This is going to be hard to wear around the city now.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
right.
so pretty.
No, we might be able to sell it to the nobles.
Maybe.
I mean, they're the
Right.
only ones that are gonna afford to get the pass that you can get, right? So
At the moment, getting funds might be the best course of action. We should clean things up down here if we're going to be using it for a hideout, and the sisters need a better place to stay.
Well, I mean, they can stay down here. It's pretty safe, especially if they're hiding out from somebody.
No, I mean better beds or better facilities. Everything down here is broken at the moment.
Ah.
Still, we could probably make some stuff for you. We'll figure it out.
anybody have craft carpentry?
I mean,
No.
crafting covers all of it, technically.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we can technically sit down here and craft.
Clothing here is actually worth about 40 gold pieces.
It's a lot
Wow.
of money.
Let's definitely
Okay.
sell that then, yeah.
Okay.
And then we can just buy new furnishings.
These are 2 full-size 4-foot by 4-foot by 4-foot crates filled with Venetian clothing.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's actually a lot of clothing.
Dang, we rolling.
In addition to this, the Fushi sisters also provide you with Nan's satchel.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
what did Nan have?
Opening this, you find it contains 2 books. One of these is written in Venetian.
Nope.
Yeah, don't know that.
I just hand the books automatically to the smart people.
Yeah.
I don't actually speak
I
that.
don't. Neither do
Oh,
I.
Maybe
Uh,
Rexus does.
It's
y'all-
it's a
do y'all
language
speak
that none
this?
of you recognize.
I talked to the sisters. Any of you guys know what this book says?
Corva just kind of glances over, shakes her head. No,
Some kind of mystery language.
I didn't really mess with the Venetians. Halflings, but not the Venetians.
Yeah, feel you there. Okay, well, we'll see if our fancy boy can translate
Oh, I did
this.
learn Infernal because I was told that everyone speaks Infernal here.
No, just the fancy guys.
Definitely not true.
A few
Yes.
people look down at the sheets and like,
I was going to say
Yes.
Lucia doesn't speak Infernal,
I
so
speak it.
yeah.
I do. Cesare speaks in
Okay.
Infernal.
Just
not.
the fancy guys, yes.
The fancy lads.
I mean,
the second book
often.
all of you can recognize is written in common.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
This appears to be a ledger.
Oh, nice.
cool.
Hey,
Just glancing over this ledger, it seems to not only include itemized lists pertaining towards objects being shipped around. You would note that the 2 crates that you've opened, comparing their crate numbers to the ledger here, they're listed down as red potatoes.
But they're actually something else. Because of course they are.
Apparently, he ships a lot of potatoes, judging by the ledger.
fair enough.
Great.
This won't be very helpful in the long run, I don't
We
think.
could use
Other
this
than
code.
ideas for our own smuggling operation if we went that way.
He does also list in here 5 exotic birds.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I love it.
I
Wow.
love it. I love it.
Wow.
Apparently a lot in this smuggling business. In addition to that, however, you do find 8 gold pieces,
Nice.
66 silver pieces, 105 copper pieces,
All right.
and I'm pretty sure this is a give me, so I'll just go ahead and say this is a give me, and a alabaster holy symbol of Abadar.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Are those still worth the...
Alabaster is a rare material,
Oh, that's right.
so it's not standard gold, silver, but
Also, who the heck's going to buy this? Because...
I mean, there is a
cool.
Church of Abadar.
Oh, wait, no, Abadar is cool with...
You can have lawful evil clerics of Abadar. The way they've acted in the campaigns I've seen them in, I feel like that's their freaking default alignment. But anyway.
But he's a smuggler. That's kind of interesting.
I mean, at best
Money.
disguise is to look like you're innocent.
I
It's
guess so.
probably a cover.
all of you can take a second to look over the holy symbol as well. It is finely crafted alabaster-shaped key.
Cool. Wait, it's a key.
Yeah, that's the symbol of Abadar.
Yes.
Yes.
But could it also be a key?
I
Theoretically.
mean, it looks kind of big for it, but it's probably worth about 10 gold, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay.
As I said, we should use some of these funds to procure new furnishings for the hideout.
Yeah, I also have to go get a picture of What's-A-Face. Well, you know, we all know her name, but I like to say What's-A-Face because I feel like it's disrespectful.
She will not be named.
Nah.
All right.
You're no fun.
I'm guessing that's all the materials here, though. The rest of the crates are probably empty.
Going through the rest of the crates, a number of these crates are empty. Some of these crates contain nothing but either dust or some of them like fungus,
Nah.
Ew.
where
Yeah.
whatever was once held in these seems to have been abandoned down here for a long period of time.
Neat.
Some of the crates down here are what appear to be numerous crates of additional beans. You're going to guess for the shop above, as well as some other general dry good things. Anyone... give it a second.
We may need to do some spring cleaning.
Yeah.
I will give this to both Niccolo and Vittoria, since I made a secret roll for you, but I'm not going to worry about typing it all out.
Sounds
You
good.
both realize that these would potentially result in fines, but none of these are illicit goods. So in the off chance that someone broke into the place, then came downstairs, then found the secret entrance, then came in here, it would just look like that she has extra supplies that aren't listed for inventory
Oh,
or
yeah,
taxing purposes.
That's pretty smart.
The embroidered clothing is actually not even illegal as long as you're not wearing it, right?
Well, yeah, but that wasn't
Yeah.
hers originally anyway. That was
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah, so I mean, you can have the illegal clothing. In fact, you can even sell this said illegal clothing. You just can't wear it. So,
You know what I'm doing? I'm
Need to
moving my
find a
investments
clothier.
over into embroidered clothing.
welcome to Chiliax.
My
Find a
embroidered
loophole.
clothing.
Hey, we should go to that guy that has that tailor shop and see if he wants to buy some embroidered clothing.
I mean, he's pretty good, so he could probably make it whatever he wanted. Niccolo
Sure.
shrugs. Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Anything else around here, or it doesn't seem so.
You don't see anything else in this room.
I mean, one thing we're not finding is, like, food. So, I mean, if nothing else, we're going to have to go up and buy some supplies.
We ran through the food that Nan brought with him 3
Yeah.
days ago.
So we got to...
Fortunately, someone kept leaving food over by the door, and then we slipped out and picked up a little bit of extra.
That was
Mostly beans.
Laria who did that.
Oh, well, I guess we owe her for swiping some of her goods.
I have a feeling she's not going to mind too much, but we'll work it out.
I'm gonna go meditate in the water real quick. And Adria
All right.
walks off.
I guess, Vittoria, Lucia, do you want to check out the statue?
Yeah,
Yes,
let's go
I
for
think.
it.
And
I'm interested to see
Cesare, I'm
what it
guessing
is.
you'll keep Overwatch.
Yes, I'm not exactly the swimming type.
So you're keeping Overwatch. Niccolo smiles.
Yeah, Cesare's gonna stay on the dock.
So, Adria, you wade back into the water. Again, it's only been about like 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes since you were last in here, so your shoes haven't even finished drying out by the time that you're splashing back in here. Cesare stepping out onto the dock. The sisters make their way out and mostly just kind of have a quiet moment off to the side where they pay their respects to Koff. As violent as Koff was, they cared for her.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
Koff was still family, you know?
Yeah.
The breakout trio of Vittoria, Lucia, and Niccolo, I suppose, splash down into the water, take the steps down instead of just jumping off the dock.
Yeah, might as well in this case.
Navigate their way towards the statue of Callistra, which stands staring down at you with a expression that you can only describe as one part part sneer, 1 part seduction.
Sounds right, yeah.
That fits.
Approaching the statue. Yeah, this fine, beautiful statue stands waist deep in the water. Actually, it's about knee deep because she's up on a platform.
Fair enough.
Her elven features fine and chiseled, her gaze staring down at you as you begin to approach. Although by the time that you reach the base of the statue, she's kind of staring over all of your heads.
Niccolo shrugs. So, Vittoria, what did you see here?
Grooves in the floor, so I don't know if it just opens up into a drawer or perhaps into another passageway of some kind.
So, how do we activate it, or push it, or whatever?
I mean, just try pushing it and see what happens.
All right.
Victoria would like to examine it.
Yeah, Vittoria steps forward, takes a look at it.
Say, is there like a button or a lever, or is it just like good old elbow grease?
Good old brute force.
Yeah.
There's just a nice key-shaped hole in her back.
It's like, it's really weird, you know, Abadar wouldn't normally get along with Calistria, but for some reason...
But they hid the key to look like a key of Abadar so nobody would think to use it, right?
Yeah. And then Nan just happened to bring it with him when he went here, and it was just...
And it
sheer
conveniently didn't end up in one of the Croc's stomachs.
Yeah.
Secret roll.
Secret
roll.
I was gonna say there was nothing there.
Under the coffee house. Secret roll.
Another one, too. That's the best part. It's just like, man,
Should be
how many
open.
secret passages does one coffee house need?
Unfortunately, I don't actually see a way to open this.
All
But I know
right.
that it does. Or something happens with this statue.
I guess I'll try pushing? Niccolo shrugs.
Seems that way. I mean, worst case, it doesn't move. We try something else.
Sounds like a plan.
So, athletics.
Very well.
Good luck, Niccolo, because I am not going to be able to help you.
Cesare
Oh.
scritches Raven and watches.
Did you crit fail?
I roll a natural 1, which does mean I
Oh.
auto crit fail, assuming that a 8 is normally a failure. Yeah.
Get an 8?
Yep.
Oh, gee.
Okay.
I don't like that.
There's
I
a
don't
click
like...
and the trap goes
Okay.
off.
Oh, no.
So, Niccolo, you just kind of step forward and just shove on this, just ramming your shoulder. The thing tilts precariously backwards before rocking forward and tilting ahead. I will need a reflex save as Kalistra bears down on you
Oh no!
Oh, God.
with murderous intent.
Revenge is swift.
All right. Let's see here. I roll a total of an 18.
Okay. So you
Rolling an
scramble out of the way as the statue smashes back behind you. Well, splashes and smashes. Again, it's a stone statue crashing into the water. For a moment, Niccolo, you go completely under as you splash down, and you feel it impact with your leg, not with enough force to injure you, but for a moment there's that panic as you're actually stuck under this until you manage to wiggle your way free and then get out splashing back above the surface.
That is not what I wanted to...
Are you all right?
I think so. It's just my pride that's wounded, but that was a close one.
Perhaps brute force is not the best way to go about this.
Well,
On the plus side, the pedestal's open now. Maybe it's easier to push.
Well, the entire thing has fallen over at this point. So all of you can see that there is a 2-foot by 3-foot area underneath the statue.
Cool.
Cloister is going to be so mad at me.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
Cleisha is definitely gonna be mad at you.
Yeah. It appears to be no deeper than about 2 feet deep, and looking in there, you can see that there's just a waterlogged chest.
Huh. Well, I guess on the plus side, we found out what was under it. Seems to be a chest of some kind.
Well, I suppose I'll see if I can open it, but I think we should probably get it out first.
Yes. How heavy is it?
It's heavy in that, once you get it above the water surface, it's pretty heavy in that you think it's full of water.
Ah, okay.
But
Yeah.
grabbing onto it, you can still manage to pull it out, lug it along the way. I imagine you gather Cesare finishing his watch and Adria finishing her meditation as you just kind of gather around this chest once you've logged it up onto shore.
Ah, great.
Yeah, it looks like an old wooden waterlogged chest. If it ever was waterproofed, it certainly isn't now.
I can't imagine there's going to be much in here, but let's take a look.
For those of you either fans of lifestyle or fans of the children's stories that you probably heard, it looks like a traditional pirate chest. Like metal
Yeah.
bound around the outside, curved top.
Nice.
Hidden treasure.
Is it locked?
Does it happen to have an obscenely large thing the size of an Abaddon key?
It does not.
I think you're gonna have to give that one up, Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what? There was a chance.
It is not locked. However, it does require a little bit of brute force from Niccolo. I won't need a check, but it takes you a couple minutes with the crowbar to actually pry this open because it's just rusted from years and years of being shut down there.
Almost got it, and there. Finally.
Again, I think one of you made the check. I can't remember who, but remembered that the Calistrans were basically run out of Cantargo 75 years ago. So this is probably set. You don't know if there was water in the place at that time, although you doubt very seriously they would have stored a non-watertight chest there if these tunnels were flooded then.
Yeah.
So
True.
it might have been flooded since, but it's the very least probably spent a good 50 years underwater.
Great.
Cracking this open, it splits open, revealing inside, there's still little rivulets of water streaming out the side like someone's poked small holes in a water balloon as you're just watching it slowly drain. As you crack this open, you can see this murky interior, not murky from plant matter or anything like that, but as you crack it open, you can see that there were once probably numerous dockets and paperwork held within this that have just disintegrated to nothing in the
Nuts.
intervening years.
These were probably important to the church.
Well, whatever they were, they're gone now.
Fishing around in there,
Yeah, I was about to say, is there anything else, or...
you do find two things, either through some long digging of basically dunking your arm in there and filling around in the bottom, or flipping it over onto its side and letting it all splash out.
I think
Whichever
flipping it
you
over
prefer.
is going to be the quicker way at
Yeah.
this point.
The first is what appears to be a design that resembles 3 daggers, hilt to hilt, forming a triangle,
Cool.
which you'd be able to recognize as the holy symbol of Calistra.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Although tarnished, this is still made of fine Cantargan silver.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
As such, most of you would know that a silver holy symbol is worth 2 gold pieces.
Very nice.
Again, this is probably something that Adria might know because she does know someone in the Bleakbridge district that deals with holy symbols. Technically, this would be considered an illicit item if you kept it. However, selling it is not.
So like the Church
At
of
which point it's
Asmodeus
just a-
would give us money to give them this and they'd melt it down or whatever.
Or you could sell it to any collector or anything like that has some interest in like an old holy symbol or something like that. But again, as far as, if you yourself wanted to melt it down, there's actually only 5 silver pieces worth of silver. It's the artistry that gives it most of its value.
Sell it then.
In
Yeah,
addition
sure.
to this is an exceptionally fine looking whip.
Nice.
Despite the fact that it is a leather whip, it has survived these years in the water shockingly well.
I
Magic.
bet that's got some magic on it.
Yeah, Cesare will do a read aura.
Picking it up, Cesare, casting Read Aura. Spending about a minute kind of turning this over in your hands.
I do have quick identification now where I can identify the properties of an item in 1 minute instead of 10 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Spiffy.
That was my feat that I picked
great
up.
Very cool.
Nice.
I was like, I'm tired of standing around for 10 minutes every
Every
5
5
seconds.
steps. Also, if that's the case, we actually have, I think, 2 scrolls that are unidentified. So you could just spend 3 minutes and identify everything.
Holding this in your hands, you can determine that this is in fact magical and appears to bear an evocation aura.
Ooh.
I'll concentrate on it for a minute.
Suppose Cesare takes a couple experimental cracks with the whip.
Yep. It has a potency rune on it.
What's that do?
That makes it more accurate and more potent in its attacks.
Non-lethal, 10-foot reach.
The weapon 2nd edition is honestly really cool. Like, I'm a big fan of them now.
I'm gonna maybe look that up and see, because if it's
Same.
I need a finesse weapon though, so I don't think a whip's a finesse
It's
weapon.
finesse.
It's finesse.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
It's a
Ooh,
finesse.
Can you use it with my
gives you.
swashbuckling?
Yeah,
You can disarm
Victoria
with
can
it.
use it too.
It's it's got reach, disarm, trip. It's
very
non-lethal.
cool.
It also
Yeah.
has. They've gotten rid of the thing where if they're wearing armor, the whip doesn't do any damage, so you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
tight.
I mean, it's only a D4 slashing, but it's still D4 slashing.
Yeah.
This is D4, yeah.
It's a utility weapon.
Yeah, it's a utility weapon. You don't use it for heavy damage, but I don't know. I just think it's got enough. It's like a Swiss Army knife of different stuff you can do, which I think is pretty sweet. But
Well, especially with the 2E action economy, being able to strike someone from 10 feet away is really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, of course, you know, like, I think you're literally the only person that can use it, so if you don't see yourself using it, then... You know,
I think
obviously.
Victoria
I
can.
can use it.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
Victoria
okay.
can use it too.
Oh,
I mean, Victoria,
yeah.
if you want the
Because you
Indiana
can-
Jones vibe.
I mean, that's pretty
Yeah,
Victoria.
it's got reach, disarm, trip.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, you
Yeah.
can very easily sell Rachel on just the Indiana Jones
Exactly.
vibe.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I mean, it's indie.
Well, the thing, too, is that because it's an item that allows you to do that, you actually get the potency rune as a bonus to your trip and disarm attempts.
Yeah.
Ooh, now that's nice.
So, yeah.
So does anyone belt the whip, or...
I mean, at the very least, we're going to take it, but
Yeah.
not just going to, like, leave it in the chest.
But is anyone putting it on, I guess is my question right now. Seems to be between Lucia and Vittoria right now.
Yeah, what you thinking, Rach? Because if you don't want it, Lucia's
mean-
taking it.
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't. Honestly, as much as I personally want it, I don't know if it fits Vittoria.
Cool,
All right.
it fits Lucia now. Yay. Apparently she's at one point learned how to use a whip.
It's very like
I mean,
dramatic.
you had to use it for
It's super dramatic,
a
yes.
play or something.
Oh, I was also going to say, it's like, oh yeah, this was part of my equestrian training.
Oh, could be that
Oh,
too.
yeah,
but
probably.
I was also thinking it's like, you know, oh, she had to at some point been a thief in a play or something because she learned how to do lockpicking. Maybe she was playing like an equivalent of Catwoman. She had a whip.
Jordan's leaning into his Selena Kyle direction with Lucia.
Yes. Get some little claw tips for her fingies.
Yeah.
For her
Figgies.
fingies.
Fingies.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
For
can
her
we-
fingies.
No.
The cat.
No.
Jordan's
no.
real speech is coming out in the pod.
It's true.
Jordan's true speech.
Well, I suppose we should head upstairs and let Laria know what happened to her friend and everything else that's gone on down here.
Yes.
Maybe Rexus can read this book.
I mean, he seems to read a lot of languages, so
It might give us some interesting information, though it doesn't seem to... It's probably not directly pertinent to what's going on, though.
Hey, you never know.
Most likely not, but maybe it's worth something to someone who collects books or something like that.
fair.
Well,
enough.
maybe it's got real history in it. Ain't that a big deal? Lots of people would pay lots of money for that.
I suppose you're right.
Could be, but Varetians aren't very common here, so they probably wouldn't write it in Varetian.
Yeah.
Volumes of the Pathfinder Chronicles, from what I understand, can fetch a hefty price depending on the volume.
You exit out of the Stormwater Shrine, make your way back through the secret door. I suppose ascend upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the distant sound of the crowds up front as you make your way up.
I have not
Stepping
gotten a donut
upstairs.
yet. I'm probably going to try to buy one if we can.
Well, get it.
Didn't Laria bring us some like pastries and
Yeah,
treats?
she brought us a whole
Yeah.
tray of pastries.
Oh,
biscuits
okay.
and stuff.
Never
Yeah.
mind.
And we had some coffee.
That's
and-
right, we did.
yeah.
Sorry, it's been so long that I actually forgotten about that.
That's true. Ascending up the ladder, you actually find Laria is still back here in the pantry, seeming to have taken the time while she was waiting for all of you, judging by the clipboard she's holding, to take care of some inventory.
Especially since I told her it'd been off.
Miss Longroads.
She cocks her head as you make your way up to the top of the ladder, probably helping a few of you up. Again, for her small stature, she is surprisingly strong.
We have some bad news,
Nan?
Nah.
unfortunately.
Yes, it did not make it.
Hey, but we have some good news. We met some smugglers.
Yes, and then helped a group of sisters escape Riddleport.
They fell in with a crime boss up there. Or they fell in it
They're
bad.
the ones that have been taking the food you've been leaving. They've offered to help the rebellion.
Well, this is your rebellion, and I'm willing to help, of course, but are you sure you can trust them?
They don't seem to be from around here, which means that they're probably not associated with any of the current groups.
I mean, if it helps, they're also Tengu.
I don't know if that helps, but you can meet them for yourself and suss them out. But I mean, they struck us as pretty straightforward.
At the very least, I can take a chat with them, maybe get a kind of a feel for them. Make sure they're not going to be bringing too much trouble for all the rest of us.
We found some of Nan's old goods, and we're going to sell them if we can. We need to spruce up the place, if you will.
Well, it hasn't really been used for much of a rebellion or anything in in quite a few years, so
It's not in the greatest of state right now anyway because of a different occupant that was down there.
Like Dire Corby.
Yes.
not exactly familiar with the dire Corby.
Just a big bird
It
of
said
muscle.
Doom a lot.
I
Oh, that
was-
explains the weird laughing sound.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you know where the portcullis goes.
It just goes out into the tunnels. Some of them, or the sewage mixes in. Some of them will take you all the way down to the about a mile and a half or so outside of the edge of town. It'll take you underneath the walls and everything.
Ooh,
Right.
That's good to know.
It makes for a good way to come in and out. And if a ship drops anchor out in the harbor beyond the edge of the city, they can sneak in a couple small rowboats or anything like that. They're hard to navigate, especially during the shifting tides. End up just as likely to smash yourself while you're down there, but it's how Nan got all of his stuff in. I wasn't having him drag his stuff in through my back door and just drop him down the stairs.
Well, that makes sense.
It may be worth doing a little investigation as far as how to navigate them.
It might be.
Probably.
Thank you again for letting us use the area.
Let me just say that I would like to get things back to a bit of business as usual, and I don't mean pastries and coffee. The sooner we can get back to me doing my real trade, the happier I'll be.
Sounds like a plan to us.
There were all the documents from your other job down below. I don't think they're probably relevant anymore, but I wanted to double check.
Oh, no. No, nothing down there would be. Not by this point. Not since we kind of decentralized, if you will, over the last couple of years. Not that Mayor Benos is causing us any issues or anything like that, but you can never quite be certain. Let's just say that the Bellflower Network has a very long history here, and some of it ended up being violent, and sometimes that required us to move things around and shuffle position.
Understandable.
Well then, I'm sure Rexus will be happy to talk to you, and I imagine you probably want to give him a little tour downstairs if he's going to be working down there.
Yes,
helping
and
you
you
get everything
probably
set
want
up.
to meet the Ushi sisters as well.
Well, and he should
Good.
be safer down there than up here because, he's also on the run.
That's true. I hate the idea of just sticking him underground the entire time, but I'm sure he'll be all right.
Well, he can always come up for air and whatnot, but
He was telling me he's, how did he phrase it? He was pretty sure that he was getting caffeine jitters from the constant access to free coffee. Not that it's
wonder.
technically free, but you understand. You put a college boy in a coffee house, that's what you get.
But we do have that hat.
oh yeah.
We do have that hat.
Hat?
Perhaps you could get around with that. It is
Lucia will take the hat off her head.
I know. It's just. It is a magical device of some kind. It allows you to create a disguise without actually having to have any sorts of physical makeup
Nan's
or
hat.
wigs.
Right.
So
He loved to use that thing, impersonate people. From what I understand, he got in quite a bit of trouble with the Chelish Navy once. Impersonating an admiral, walked on the deck of a ship. It was a whole thing.
I would have been good friends with Nan for sure.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's played by Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Classic Nan, also played by Johnny Depp. I could buy that.
It's unfortunate we did not have the chance to meet him.
It is.
He sounds interesting.
He's a good man and would have been a horrible addition to any rebellion. Nan's first and only love was Nan.
Fair
But I
enough.
respected the man for it. He never tried to hide it. Well then, if you want to make yourselves comfortable in my office, I can go and retrieve Rexus, or I can take you upstairs. It might just be a little bit quieter if you want to get away from this. We got a small room up there, mostly used for kind of an employee lounge.
I think that would be fine.
Yes, I suppose meeting upstairs for now would be good.
She'd lead all of you back out from the back. Again, fortunately, by the amount of time that you were down there and all the rest of that, she'd probably go and get you some towels first to help you all dry off before everyone's like, why are they walking wet out of the pantry?
Yeah, that would be a weird thing to see.
Although I think somebody has prestidigitation, but it would take
I
the better
do,
part
I
of
can
like...
do
But
that
that
real
just
quick.
takes forever.
Oh, I have it too.
Oh, well, then between the two of you.
Cesare is going to have to do it because he's got to go teach after all those shenanigans.
Yeah. She escorts you back through her office and then up to the second floor into a rather spacious, comfortable-looking room for the employees, furnished with halfling-sized couches and halfling-sized chairs and halfling-sized tables.
Nice.
Laria makes her way into one of the back rooms and then comes out with a bunch of pillows for you to sit on the floor if that would make you more comfortable than sitting in the chairs where, your knees are almost shoulder level as you sit down on some of these couches. Although if you stretch your legs out, they're perfectly comfortable.
Nice.
Cesare will sit on one of the couches, and I imagine Raven probably just slides down into his lap.
Yeah.
Before Laria leaves, Lucia will not take a seat and just kind of sidle up to her. Can I borrow another minute of your time? I got something to talk to you about that's private that you might be able to help with.
Sure. They should be bringing up some, would you prefer some more pastries or maybe some donuts?
Donuts, please.
All right.
Niccolo's like, yeah, or Nikolai's like, yes.
This is going to be our new hang spot for sure.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I mean,
We're going to have to get our own like coffee brewing station down in the lair.
You should try the bear claws. The cinnamon's fresh.
oh, that sounds
Bear
delicious.
claws.
Niccolo will also sit
Uh,
in one of the chairs and looks surprisingly comfortable in a halfling-sized chair.
Adria just sits
Like,
on
I'm
the
perfectly
pillow
well.
on the floor.
Very
Actually,
well.
she more like sprawls.
Lucia, Laria would lead you back into to our own chambers, which, again, as kind of down to earth as Laria is, you can tell that this woman enjoys her creature comforts. Her bed is a full size human bed with a stepladder to get up to.
Whoa.
Nice.
4 posted with plush pillows to the point that, again, it's close to about chest level for you to get up to it.
Nice. Reminds
You
me of
can
my
see
bed at
through
home.
a somewhat transparent dressing screen that there's a large, again, full human-sized tub in the back portion of the room, and a number of tables in here and chairs. All of these are halfling-sized in this case, but again, this even as you step in, you can feel this like plush rug underneath your toes or underneath your boots, which you imagine would feel amazing on barefooted feet. Laria shuts the door. Something I can do for you, little one?
Yeah, so there was this halfling that I worked with at the opera house named Aita. She and I were really close, and she's been missing since the Night of Ashes, and I know that she was associated with the Bellflower Network.
She told you this, did she?
Yeah, I don't know what she was doing. I just know she was associated, and she like reaches into her pack and like produces a holy symbol of Milani, so it's like a thorny rose. She gave me this, and I don't know what happened to her, and I don't know if maybe you know anything or could keep an ear out for her, because she means a lot to me.
She rubs her chin, makes her way over towards the side table, gestures off towards the side for you to take a seat. Again, they're not human-sized chairs, but I suppose you could sit yourself down.
Yeah, I mean, Lucia's visibly nervous and like won't sit and just kind of like bounces on the balls of her feet.
She takes a moment, pours 2 glasses of, you're not entirely positive what. Hands over, 2 fingers worth of brandy, you think, judging by
Whoa.
the smell.
2 fingers.
I don't know what happened to anyone, unfortunately. I know that they were given forewarning, and to my understanding, they got out. If she was part of the network, she was probably too busy trying to help get any of her crop that was left here out of the city. They all loaded up aboard the Incubus, made their way north, heading for Magnamar. The Incubus is slated to return, but judging if they're going to be stopping off in Corvosa and potentially maybe even making their way up in the direction of Riddleport, it may be the better part of a month or 2.
Okay, so there's hope, because I don't know. I mean, I didn't hear from her, and it's just like she disappeared, and maybe I'll be. I did worry about her, like we were really close, and I just want to know that she's okay, right? Like I wanted to be happy and continue with the mission, and if there's anything that you need from me, feel free to ask, because I not really a member, but like I believe in the cause,
I get the feeling that part of our give and take between my assisting your Silver Ravens and working together means that you'll probably helping me with my cause a little bit too. Kind of a symbiotic relationship, if you will. Like sharks and those tiny little fish that swim up to them and nibble on them.
We're the sharks.
Yeah, no,
No, we're the little fish.
yeah, totally.
She reaches up, just kind of pats you on the elbow. You stay strong for now and keep your ear to the ground. I'll do the same. If I hear anything back, I'm sure I might hear from her or any of my other contacts at some point. But for right now, the hornet's nest's already been kicked, so most people that are wiser than I suppose the 6 or 7 of us are keeping close to the ground.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I was just kind of really hoping that was just a thing that you told us that you didn't know. So, like, you were, protecting your people. Maybe she was still in town, but,
Lucia.
she's not, and that's okay. I can live with that.
Understand something. This is very important. We are working together as a team now. I'm not going to sugarcoat the truth to you. If something bad happens, I'll tell you. The same as you told me with Nan. We don't have time for sentimentality, and I wouldn't be working with you if I thought you needed protection.
Yeah, no, I don't need protection. I'm just,
Then I won't protect you from the truth. But for now, we don't have any evidence to say that she didn't get aboard the Incubus and isn't out there right now, sailing on the seas. Far safer than we are here.
learning all kinds of sea shanties that she can tell me when she gets back. Yeah.
And probably the kind that wouldn't be good for polite company, which are always the best kind.
Those are the best ones. You're right. Thanks, Laria. I feel a lot better now. Just, it was just kind of weighing me down.
Laria nods to you. Knocks back the last of her brandy like it's water. Sets the cup off towards the side and I suppose leads you back out. By the time that Lucia and Laria have rejoined the rest of you, Rexus has already joined all of you out in the employee room, and you can kind of give them a heads up of everything that was going on downstairs. So I imagine by the time that Lucia steps back out, they're kind of finishing up with the
recap.
We're going to be working with the Fushi sisters and all the rest of that, at which point, Rexus seems to be rather excited.
That's fine.
But yeah, I suppose stepping back in there, you look over to see Rexus is pulled up with basically his elbows propped up on his knees in one of these small chairs. Ah, Lucia. Everything all right?
Yeah, no, everything's just fine.
Good. All right, well, I don't know if there's anything that you guys wanted to add or hide from Rexus that you didn't tell Laria. I don't think so.
We're really
No,
just
I
going to be
don't
like,
think
here's
we're-
a book,
No.
please read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
We're only
I think-
hiding it because we don't know what it is yet.
Is this book anything of importance?
Unfortunately, I don't read Phoenician, which is what this is written in,
Wow.
but
Cesare would glance over towards Laria, just because I know a lot of the Bellflower Network takes halflings to Varetia, so maybe she speaks it.
no, probably the only language that I speak that the rest of you don't is Shadow Tongue, and that doesn't look like Shadow Tongue.
What is Shadow
Shadow
Tongue? I've
Tongue.
never even heard of that.
I've had to escort a number of people through Night All in my time, so you get to learn the local language pretty well.
Fascinating.
I
Weird.
suppose.
Well, it's mostly spoken by the church more than anything else, and so it's a good idea to be able to listen in case they think they're talking their secret shadow language. I do that because they always whisper when they do it. It's kind of creepy.
Niccolo actually does snort a bit at that.
All right, well then, it sounds like we have successfully secured a location. So, I believe that means that it's time for us to set about rebuilding the Ravens, as it were.
The rebellion needs to be organized, at least to some extent.
It's true. So, I suppose everyone just settle in and I can start going over what I know. It shouldn't hopefully take all that too long, and we can start figuring out where we want to go from here. And then, I imagine all of you have other matters that you'll need to get to or start pursuing. So, I guess let's roll into this. He settles down, and I'm not going to
Did
go
they
through.
bring us coffee?
Oh yeah, they bring you coffee and
all
donuts.
the good stuff, man.
Bear claws.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the donuts have the pastry cream fillings.
Cesare
Particularly
would ask
raspberry
for
fillings,
some
which are-
water for Raven. She can have it in her own little teacup.
I'll get her a little cup and get her some water. Would she like some milk? Raven just holds up a paw and shakes it. No. You should never give cats milk. I'm actually lactose intolerant.
Don't give her cheese.
Oh, no. God, cheese. It's so good.
I mean, maybe
no.
a little cheese.
Cesare sighs in a yeah, don't give her cheese kind of way.
I'm on a strict fish diet. I'm trying to watch my weight, so preferably tilapia. I suppose you all
She
settle in.
might be a little bit spoiled.
Could the plate be silver? All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. So this is going to be a little bit more of a behind the screen here, as we're going to be talking about the rebellion mechanics.
All right,
Cool.
let's do it.
So
Do it.
going over a couple of things. So a lot of what Rexus is going on is he has formed a 5-step plan for the rebellion.
Oh my god.
Okay, did he bring slides?
No, he brought his own clipboard, and so he just kind of hands out notes for everyone. Pamphlet.
I was hoping it was
Great.
like a large series of paintings.
We came here to
So-
rebel, not to sit in tactical meetings, have meetings about our meetings, man.
So, but before we begin, we're going to be covering some of the Silver Raven mechanics.
Cool.
So I guess to just kind of jump into these are going to determine what you're going to be doing with your rebellion, how your rebellion works, so on and so forth. So this will make your rebellion a little bit different, a little bit more unique. And of course, these have been updated from First Edition to Second Edition rebellion mechanics.
Spiffy.
So first off, we don't have to worry about the name of your rebellion because your rebellion already has a name.
True.
The Silver Ravens.
Sweet.
So should make that a little bit easier.
Mission accomplished.
So your rebellion is broken down into a couple of things. First off, every rebellion has a rank.
Mhm.
You are rank 1.
Because we just
Much like a
started.
class, a rank goes between 1 and 20.
All right.
You'll probably be close to the same rank as you are level at most
Okay.
times. Although sometimes you may be higher and or lower because it just depends.
Okay.
There is a max rank. The maximum rank all just depends on what you've accomplished. So in essence, think of it a little bit how First Edition did the mythic rules, where you had to hit like key events to be able to raise your mythic tier further. It's a little bit the same with the rebellion. That no matter how much spreading the news and all the rest that you do, the rebellion can only really grow so much without you doing something major. Currently, your maximum rebellion rank is 5.
Okay.
You are not there. So the first big choice for all of you is going to be your rebellion's focus. When your party gains control of the Silver Ravens, which you have, you must decide on what overall tactic your rebellion will favor. If you want your organization to focus on political clout and popularity, you select loyalty as the rebellion focus. If you want your group to remain sneaky and subtle in its opposition to the government, you select secrecy as its focus. If you want your group to be scrappy and eager to get into fights against Throne's agents, select security as its focus. The rebellion begins as trained in the organization's check it is focused on.
I
Secrets.
think secrecy.
Yeah, I think we're definitely
because
secrecy.
I mean, Cesare has a day job.
Yeah, definitely going to be the sneaky types. I
Well,
think
we're
we
too
kind of
young
built ourselves
for
for
being
that.
anything else.
Well, and we all built
Yeah.
ourselves like kind of stealth focused, so it fits.
Dude.
Eventually, Cesare is probably going to take the rogue dedication anyway. So
So loyalty is really good if you want to build up your rebellion quickly. Loyalty means you do a lot of propaganda. In the good terminology of propaganda, not the bad terminology of propaganda. It's
I mean,
usually
propaganda is
associated with.
neutral usually. It just
It
depends
is
on what
neutral.
you're propagandizing.
Correct. Security means that you're going to have a group of rebels that are more capable of fighting and helping you. And this rolls into that there are 2 special things that your rebellion can do for you. And what these are 2 different abilities referred to as covert action and sabotage. And what this means is that you can actually send your rebellion teams into locations before you show up there
Oh.
to lay the groundwork for you.
Whoa.
So in
Cool.
essence, sometimes with covert action, you'll actually have a map of a location before you even show up to it because your team's already scouted out, or you'll
Oh,
know
cool.
exactly how many enemies are there, so on and so forth, because you can send your spy team in ahead of you. And the sabotage more focuses on things like setting up traps for your enemies, setting up a situation that would be good for you when you arrive, even sometimes eliminating some of the enemies before you get there.
Or
Wow,
like the
cool.
back door happens to be open, whereas before it would
Yeah.
normally be locked or something.
It's the whole Hitman
Yeah.
setup thing where, like, you know,
Yeah.
after you've done it once or twice, you get, like, unlocks.
Mhm.
Yeah. So in essence, loyalty would put you a bit more in the fast progression of leveling up your rebellion, and is also good at keeping you from losing supporters, whereas the security is better at sabotaging and providing you a tangible benefit that way, and secrecy is better at keeping you lower key and also providing you intel.
lower key and intel.
I was going to say, knowing is half the
Seems-
battles, so, I mean, I think
Yeah.
secrecy.
See, I'm actually more into security, I think. Like, I like the idea of things just not working right, or like, basically people are like, haha, but you forgot that I have my trap, and then they like pull a lever and nothing happens. And they just stay there and look really dumb. And plus, I like the idea of training people to fight.
But I like leveling up fast.
Yeah.
I like the idea of secrecy because we really don't know what Barzillai Thrune's plan is. And I feel like we need to gather information first.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same.
An important note is your teams each belong to one of the 3 branches.
Ah, okay, so we don't overall just pick.
Correct. So once you pick one of those, in essence, think about it as almost your saves. That whichever one you're focused in, you start as trained and untrained in the other 2. When you become an expert in the one you're focused in, you become trained in the other ones. You will never be as good if you're at the other 2 as you are with your focused one, but you can still recruit teams later on to actually do sabotage. But again, they don't have the +2 bonus for being a higher level proficiency. So right now it sounds like we have 3 votes for secrecy, 1 vote for loyalty, 1 vote for security.
Well, I can
Yeah.
go for secrecy. This is fine.
All right, then I am outvoted. That is fair. So
Secrecy it is.
I'm going to assume that your group probably spends about an hour debating.
mhm.
Nikolai's like,
merits.
it's like, I would really like to be able to train some scrappy people to go in there and punch a guy in the face. Adria's just like, I know from experience, really having the loyalty of your group is very important.
Mhm.
But at the same time, not getting arrested would be nice.
Yeah, I don't want to be arrested. That sounds bad.
I'm pretty sure if any of us go to jail, we are in deep trouble.
And Cesare's like, y'all, I have a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Whereas, Lucia's basically like, I'm not going to say it, but I'm on the run.
Yeah.
Cesare's like, I've got a day job, and also,
I'm kind of a thing.
and in the meantime, you've got the investigator that's just like, I do my best work in the shadows.
Yeah.
The shadow.
Yeah.
Very well. Very well.
So your focus is going to be on secrecy?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Assassin's Creed style.
Yep.
Is it new games or old
Early
games?
Assassin's Creed, not the new ones where it's
No. I'm
blow
talking
a horn to
Ezio.
The,
summon
old, the
yeah.
older like Ezio trilogy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is not blow a horn to summon a whole bunch of Vikings to tear down
To
a
just
building.
start
Mhm.
wrecking stuff.
Because that would
yeah.
be security. But
That's
That would
security.
be-
Yeah, that feels like security for
Basically.
sure.
yeah.
All right, so that is your focus, is going to be secrecy.
Yeah.
Secrecy.
So the next one is going to be your membership.
Mhm.
Currently, your membership is a grand total of 11 people.
Woo.
Yay.
Sweet. We're
The 5
double
of
digits,
you, the
y'all.
Fushi sisters, Laria, and Rexus.
Hey. It's not a bad start.
As a side note, membership does nothing.
Okay.
It has no direct impact on your rebellion statistics. It's actually just mostly for flavor, so that you know how many people are sitting around the room when you're doing your like big meetings and all the rest of that stuff.
Cool.
So currently, there's just that many.
Okay.
All right.
So following that, we have supporters. This is the number of people that support the rebellion.
I'm guessing that number is very small right now.
11.
It's like 20.
This does not count members of the rebellion.
Oh.
Oh
What?
boy.
So probably 0.
So actually, and this is something that Rex has kind of hinted at a little bit before. Currently, unknown to even any of you, you currently have 3 supporters.
Oh.
These are 3 people that were so inspired by Niccolo silencing the undesirable elements during the initial protest that they're already trying to like shop this whole like maybe we should be trying to support and do more and all the rest of that.
Wow. All right.
So yeah,
Nice.
you've actually already got a couple of supporters.
Cool.
Their supporters are the number of individuals among Kintarga's population who directly support the rebellion. Your rebellion's total number of supporters are analogous to a character's basically experience points. And so that's how you become a higher rank rebellion, is by getting more supporters.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. Okay.
Each number, of course, also represents a specific individual person in Kintargo,
Mm-hmm.
which means that unfortunately, if things turn poorly,
Then they
if you
die.
start to draw too much attention, then the Church of Asmodeus can start an inquisition, the Dotari can start rounding up supporters
why
of yours,
secrecy.
etc., etc.
Yeah, secrecy.
Mhm.
If something caused your total number of supporters to drop below the minimum amount that you need to achieve a rank, you do not drop in rank.
Mm.
You can never go down in rank,
Okay, cool.
even if somehow every one of your supporters is killed.
Let's-
Of course,
let's
as
hope
a
that
side
doesn't
note,
happen.
as a side note, the rebellion can never have more supporters than Kintargo's current population,
Fair.
and never fewer than 0 because you can't have negative number of supporters.
Keep having babies so we can add them to supporters.
Start them young.
I don't think that's how that works, but
Speaking of population, Kintargo has a population of 11,900 people, roughly.
I see.
This number will fluctuate during the campaign, as the more people that die, the fewer potential
Oh.
supporters you can actually have. And also, if your supporters are executed, it takes away from the city's population.
Why am I getting
Jeez.
Battlestar Galactica vibes where every episode needs to start with how many people are left?
Yep.
Ooh.
This number will fluctuate during the campaign, but will trend downwards, of course, as Violent continues to whittle away at the citizenry, and can potentially even continue even further downwards depending upon what happens in the city.
Yeah.
As a side note, these are the civilian population of the city, which means that the population will actually go down as you're recruiting people to become members of the organization, but not supporters.
Mm.
So, for instance, the Fushi sisters don't apply to this, and if you recruit a team that's like 10 people or 5 people, then it takes 5 people out of the population because they're considered to be part of the Silver Ravens
Gotcha.
and not the citizenry.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you keep killing a bunch of your teams, you'll also negatively impact the population of the city. hopefully you won't be doing that.
We quick save before every mission.
If
Only
only
works in Assassin's Creed.
This is Iron Man mode. We're not allowed to save.
The final thing of note, as far as the main stats for your rebellion are concerned, is your notoriety. The party starts right now with a notoriety of 0.
Cool.
Basically-
yeah, the Thurns don't give a flying crap
Yeah,
what
House
we're
Thrun
doing
and
right
the Church of
now.
Asmodeus have no idea that you even exist.
Cool. Let's keep it that way.
However, if they see the Silver Ravens as more of a threat, your notoriety score increases. This value ranges from 0, which is what it's at now, to 100.
Oh, God.
At times, you'll need to make a notoriety check. That's a percentile check.
Uh-oh.
If the result is less than or equal to your current notoriety score, House Thrun or another agency takes note of the rebellion and something bad will happen.
Oh, jeez.
Great.
So we want to keep our notoriety as
Ooh,
low
I
as
should roll those
possible.
because I roll real low on percentile.
Yeah, there you go.
Now that you've
low-
said that,
low
you'll
is
roll
bad.
nothing but
That's
100s.
fair.
Low is
That's
bad.
fair.
Okay, we need to
Also,
get
also
Rachel
low is
and Heather
bad
to
because
roll.
it's if you
Oh,
roll
low is
under
bad.
your notoriety.
Okay.
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 Your notoriety score can never be more than 100.
Okay.
However, if it
There's a
reaches
limit.
100, House Thrun will crack down and enact an inquisition,
Oh.
executing suspected Silver Raven sympathizers, simultaneously reducing the Silver Raven supporters and the city's total population.
Oh.
jeez.
Wowzers.
Because again, they have martial law in effect. So,
Those Thrunies.
Nice.
so right now, you guys are trained in secrecy. You are untrained in loyalty and security,
Okay.
which means that you have a 3 base in secrecy and a 0 base in loyalty and security.
Alrighty.
You use each one of those 3 stats. Think of them as saves. For organization checks. And these are things that basically you do to support your movement. You can do a number of actions per round depending upon the rebellion's rank. Currently, you can do 1 action. A rebellion round is 1 week. So once per week, you can decide on an action for your rebellion to do.
Right now, we need to start support, I think. That's an option.
You do have a maximum number of 2 teams that you can have active right now. Keep in mind that the Fushi sisters are a team of yours, but you do not have to recruit them. So the important thing that we need to decide right now is officers.
Okay.
The role of the officers is generally taken by PCs, although certain important NPC allies can serve as officers as well. Currently, any one of you can serve as an officer, as well as Laria and Rexus,
Okay.
All right.
if you so wish them to.
Okay.
There are 6 total positions available, but the rebellion
Okay.
doesn't need all 6 of these to be filled.
Okay.
However, it does benefit the rebellion to have all 6 of these positions filled. Here are your options. The first officer role is the demagogue. This officer adds their constitution or their charisma modifier to the rebellion's loyalty checks.
I got
I
a
got a
1
plus
on
3
those.
charisma.
Okay.
The second one is the partisan. This officer adds either their strength or their wisdom modifier to the rebellion's security checks.
Okay.
The demagogue is basically in charge of getting up there and making the big Captain America speech.
That's very Lucia.
The partisan is there for basically training the soldiers as well as keeping their focus on the protection of the rebellion.
Okay.
The third role is the recruiter. This officer adds their charisma or their wisdom modifier to the supporter attrition check during the upkeep phase, and adds the same bonus to determine the number of supporters recruited on any successful organization check that results in new supporters. So they're basically in charge of, 1, making sure that people that support the rebellion don't leave the rebellion, and 2, bringing in new people.
The Den Mother, you say?
Adria likes that.
The fourth is the Sentinel. This officer grants a +1 bonus on one of the rebellion's 2 secondary organization checks. You get to choose which check receives this bonus each week, as you can turn your focus to either one of the lesser aspects. They can also aid during all organization checks attempted to resolve one event during the event phase. So something comes up, they're kind of backup that backs up everyone else. The Sentinel can add her Constitution or Charisma modifier to a loyalty check, her Strength or Wisdom modifier to a security check, or her Dexterity or Intelligence modifier to a secrecy check, made during the event's resolution.
Okay.
They're the most versatile. You're just kind of the fallback person for everyone.
Okay.
Your fifth option is the Spy Master. This officer adds their Dexterity or Intelligence modifier to the Rebellion's secrecy checks.
Ooh.
You're basically in charge of information.
I know who that should go to.
The sixth officer is the Strategist.
Oh,
This
that
officer
sounds
grants
good.
the Silver Ravens a bonus action during the activity phase, and any organization check made to resolve the effect of this bonus action gains a +1 bonus. There is no associated skill with that.
I want to be the recruiter.
Okay. Let's see. I could do Demagogue or Spy Master.
I think I should probably be the spy master because I have a +4 intelligence.
That's also the one that's best suited for Cesare with his +4 intelligence.
I
Everybody
like
and
that
their
the three people
intelligence.
that all wanted secrecy also are all wanting the spy master.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna go partisan because
I knew you would do
know,
partisan.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that
doing
makes
the
sense.
recruitment, so we kind of fell
Okay,
into the
let me
things
do
we liked.
let me do demagogue then, because I at least have a +3 in my charisma, and then you guys can like rock paper scissors who gets spy master.
Because strategist is also very cool sounding.
Strategist is a fairly useful one also for an NPC member of the group, such as Rexus, just because it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what his
modifier.
stats are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
That's
Rexus
fair.
also, I believe, has an 18 intelligence, so take that for what you will. I guess the question is, demagogue requires either Constitution or Charisma. So
I got charisma.
I don't know if Cesare or Vittoria have the Charisma to handle it.
I do not.
I only have a +2
I have a +1.
on my charisma.
Okay, I guess that should go to me then.
Wizards and investigators, not that different. Except for, magic.
Not when you're talking
Familiars
like
and
key stats.
Strategy.
Actually, I apologize. Rexus has a +4 Charisma.
Oh, okay.
He has a +2 intelligence and a +2 wisdom, a +4 charisma, a +2 dexterity. He has a 0 strength and a -1 constitution.
-1 Constitution.
Goodness.
I think he mentioned in passing that he
Eh.
was sick when he was a kid, and it's
Yeah.
But strength and constitution aren't paired though, right?
No, they aren't.
No.
He almost has the most rounded stats.
For being a sentinel, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he can help.
Yeah. Okay, let's put him in that.
For the sentinel, it's always a physical stat and a mental stat. It's constitution and charisma, strength and wisdom, dexterity and intelligence. So you can
Yeah.
take either direction depending on how you want to for a sentinel. So he can be a very good focusing on the mental aspects of being a sentinel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So we have the strategist and the spy master still up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, as far as my stats go, Spy Master's the only one that plays to my stats, but I mean, Strategist, I think you said we can roll whatever on that?
You
or
don't roll
what?
at all.
Strategist doesn't require you to roll anything. It's you grant a bonus rebellion action every turn. So currently you can only take 1 rebellion activity, but the strategist lets you take 2.
Which is cool.
And the strategist also gives a +2 bonus on that check. Sorry, +1 bonus on that check.
Yeah. Well, still, that's really good.
And it's nice because you don't have to roll. You get to just be like, this is what we're doing. Bam.
I guess if Rach wants Spy Master, Cesare can do the strategist.
This makes sense. He has a very strategist vibe.
You just look over there and he's just sitting in a chair, slowly stroking his cat. No, Mr. Thrune, I expect you to die. So you guys have recruited a single team.
Woo.
They're the Fushi sisters.
Yay.
Every team needs a manager, which is going to be one of the officers that is in essence in charge of that team. An officer can manage a number of teams equal to their charisma bonus to a minimum of 1.
I have 1.
Okay.
If a PC has the natural born leader background, then they can manage 1 additional team.
Yay.
Are you natural born, Ross?
Yep.
Nice.
Natural born leader. So I get
Yep.
3 teams.
The manager only comes into play every once in a while, but for the most part, it's basically there for, you're the one that tracks everything that pertains to that team. So if the team becomes disabled, all the rest of that stuff, it's kind of the manager's
They
role
report
to
basically
roll for
to
them
you.
to, yeah, and also to roll for them to see when they recover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So who wants to manager the Fushi sisters?
I would like to run them if we're going to use them for smuggling and stuff, because that's in Adria's wheelhouse.
Yeah, what can we use the teams for? I guess would be the first question.
So
As we say, what does a team do?
a wide range of common teams are available for recruitment. Each grants a different ability, bonuses, and rebellion actions. As you play through Hell's Rebels, specialized groups and organizations you encounter can become available as unique teams to add to the Silver Ravens as well.
Cool.
The Fushi sisters are a specialized team.
Yay.
Nice.
The Fushi sisters are, when the Fushi sisters start, they're able to do a secure cash out option, which means that they can sneak into a location and secure items inside of that location for
Oh,
you.
that's
Oh,
helpful.
nice.
Oh, that's cool.
So the teams are basically divided into 3 common categories: dissenters, subversives, and revolutionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of these depends on what type of check that they focus on. Dissenters focus on loyalty checks. They control the flow of information and help shape the public persona of the Silver Ravens. Subversives would normally be considered use what would normally be considered criminal activities to support the Silver Ravens. And then revolutionaries take the cause to the street and oppose the government with physical and magical power. Currently, since you've taken the direction of being secrecy, you only have access right now to the subversives.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
this aligns with what I was thinking. For
I was gonna say I think this works well.
Which means the Fushi sisters are right now trained subversives, aka sneaks. When you as a rebellion have access to expert level training, you can train them through a training action. We'll do that once you get to that point to make them smugglers, as they are not currently actually smugglers. They've also now gained the gather information rebellion activity.
Nice.
So they can go out and gather information for you instead of you having to do it.
Nice.
Cool.
Sweet.
A team of sneaks can secure a minor cache of equipment for later use throughout the city, but not on dangerous sites.
Okay. Cool.
So, in essence, you could have them sneak into a park and secure something before you or anything along those lines. I'll get into secure stash a little bit later on.
Okay.
I was just saying it's going to be more pertinent, I suppose, once we get to a point where we're actually taking a rebellion action.
Yeah.
And they do gain a bonus on certain checks depending upon the charisma of the person supporting them. So their manager.
Wow.
So what is your charisma modifier?
+1.
Okay. But yeah, that is currently your team. And again, they are able to go out, perform these various actions, so on and so forth. Secure caches for you. They can eventually upgrade to saboteurs, at which point they're able to create diversions and things like that. And then eventually, once you reach legendary, they can upgrade to full-blown spies,
Cool.
Cool.
which actually let them take the cover-up action, which lets you basically reduce your notoriety by sending in a team to scrub everything down afterwards and
cleanup
make sure no one knows about it.
Nice.
Nice.
Shh, nothing ever
Silver
happened.
Ravens were never here.
You do also have allies, and your allies in this case are Laria Longroad.
Okay.
And Laria provides all loyalty checks made to recruit supporters gain a +1 bonus as long as you have Laria.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, I'll bring her with me on my recruitment drives
Well, I think she just has to be a part of the organization, right? She doesn't have to physically be there.
for roleplay purposes.
Okay, fine.
She has a human-sized bed, so if I decide to pursue that flirtation from earlier, I would fit in the bed.
That is technically true. You also have Rexus Viticora. Although Rexus was never officially a part of the Sacred Order of Archivists, he learned a fair amount how to lie from his mother. As long as Rexus remains an ally of the Silver Ravens, the Rebellion's notoriety score is reduced by 1 to a minimum score of 1 at the start of every upkeep phase.
Nice.
Nice.
So he can basically just slowly bleed misinformation about the Rebellion
Cool.
to keep your notoriety down. So yeah, I mean that basically covers the majority of that. The direct impact that the Rebellion mechanics has for all of you is the fact that as members of the Silver Ravens, you also gain what are referred to as PC boons. Each time the Rebellion gains a rank, all PCs associated with the Rebellion gain a boon.
Cool.
These boons are applied immediately and are permanent increases to the PCs involved. Only PCs gain these boons, NPC officers do not.
Woohoo.
At rank 1, you gain your title,
Ooh.
which in your case means that all of you are Defenders of Kintargo.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
The title is largely itself just an honorific, so you don't actually even have to technically be using that term for yourself. It's just kind of what people are saying about the Silver Ravens once you guys get started. It coincides with your acquisition of a bonus feat that each PC has earned through a combination of training with the Rebellion's members, as well as self-confidence gained from the Rebellion's growing strength.
Nice.
As such, with the title of Defender at first level, each PC gains an archetype dedication feat for any common archetype that they meet the prerequisites for. So, much akin to the free archetype rules out of the Game Mastery Guide. Except for it's tied to this instead of every other level, you gaining an archetype feat. If you already have an archetype dedication, somehow, you instead gain a class feat that can only be used to select an archetype feat. So real quick, I'd already let all of you know about this beforehand, so if we want to do a quick roundtable and everyone state what your archetype that you've selected. So I suppose starting with Jessica.
Adria took Dandy, so she's now an expert in deception and trained in society. She can influence rumors, and she gets Hobnobber for free.
Hey, there you go.
Nice.
Lucia?
So Lucia took the Vigilante dedication, which I did talk to Rick about. It is an uncommon dedication,
Yes.
but for the purposes of this, we're going to say it's common. So I basically now have 2 personas. These personas, one of which is my social persona, which is going to continue to be Lucia, and then I'm going to have my Vigilante persona, which is going to be a new person. I'm an air quote kind of person. This gives me some bonuses to detection and people's ability to scry on me. So basically, it's harder to detect who I am as long as I'm in my Vigilante persona. They cannot see my social persona and vice versa.
Nice.
You
All
become
right.
the mask.
What do we get for Cesare?
Cesare took Familiar Master, so Raven has even more powers now.
More powerful.
Dun dun dun. Yep. So
Fear me, mere mortals. Vittoria.
Vittoria is leaning into her medical training So I took the medic dedication. So I'm an expert in medicine at this point, and if I succeed with my battle medicine or my treat wounds, my people will heal for even more than they did before.
Nice.
And it's just kind of cool. So
There you go.
yeah, it says if you're a master in medicine, you can do so once per hour on the battle medicine thing, but I already had that from my forensic acumen, so...
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm going to be really good at patching people up. I can't patch myself up, apparently. I suck at that, but I'm really good at patching everyone else up.
All right. And what about Niccolo?
Niccolo, I think, is taking the only multi-class archetype. I'm
Ooh.
actually going to go into champion because I can't
Nice.
resist champions. It has given me heavy armor proficiency, first of all, so I'm a rogue.
you're the sneaking in heavy armor type of rogue. Nice.
But after that, it also trained me in 2 additional skills. I actually already had religion and society, so I chose performance and survival as my new skills. So,
Nice.
woo.
And what type of champion are you?
I am a liberator champion, which is the chaotic good champion.
Oh,
Liberator.
Everybody loves Liberator.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Also, that name totally fits with what we're doing. Liberating the city.
Yep. And so when you guys will get a new title of Guardian at rank 4, which is when you will get your
Nice.
next free archetype feat. And then again at 9, 14, and 19.
Cool.
So
Cool.
there's also other cool things that will be coming for you in the future.
Cool.
But I suppose all of you settle around, go through all of this, get like the bare bones basics down on what the rebellion's going to be. As far as here are the actual mechanics, and I can write it all down on a character sheet. Because the rebellion has a character sheet. Rexus also goes over what he believes are the 5 steps of revolution. As far as he's kind of drawn it out during apparently his time as a sentinel now, where he's getting involved in all this.
you say you want a revolution. Whoa.
So his views are step 1 is rally and recruit. Before anything else, the party needs to track down supporters and allies in Cantargo. Taking actions to help the downtrodden, to seek outspoken dissidents for support are 2 possibilities. Laria and Rexus both during this meeting have some suggestions on where you can kind of start for this.
I have a couple as well. I don't know if they're pertinent, but I have a couple.
I have one.
Rexus' first suggestion is investigating the fires.
Makes sense.
While this doesn't necessarily help with everything else that's going on, it's, by the way, my parents' house burned down, so maybe figuring out why that happened.
Say, Vittoria is already doing that.
That's fair. Yeah, you started with that. You were doing
Sure.
it before it was cool.
And funny enough, the Laria's suggestion pertains towards the fact that there's ever since the Thrashing Badgers burned down, there's been a constant barrage of issues with clinch jaws, and so that might be something to follow up as well, because it's always, as she puts it, it's always useful to have a bartender on your side.
Oh, well, there was
True.
mine.
Yep, they hear stuff.
Those are, as far as that's concerned, their immediate suggestions pertaining towards the rebellion and what they should be doing right now. Rexus then goes on to explain his views that the next step would be securing a permanent stronghold. While this initial safe house is good, more likely than not, the wasp nest will outgrow the wasp nest rather quickly, and we'll need to secure a larger, stronger, more defensible hideout.
Yeah.
At the same time, securing the support of other factions within the cities is necessary. His suggestions include the Rose of Cantargo, which is both the name of the underground cult of Milani, as well as the eponymous name of a member of the cult of Milani known as the Rose of Cantargo. Basically a vigilante hero to the downtrodden.
Hey, friend.
The Rose of Cantargo has not been seen since the Night of Ashes. And from what you understand, the cult of Milani is basically gone.
Niccolo sort of looks somewhat pensive for a moment, but keeps his mouth shut.
He is the Rose of Milani. No.
Yes.
How'd you get 2 dedications?
It was me all along. I was the
First
turkey.
level rogue vigilante.
Yep, he pops up and does that Sailor Moon thing where he throws a rose and it somehow like cuts people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, but I don't want to be Tuxedo Mask. He's useless.
My work here is done, but
Yep.
but you didn't do anything.
Rexus also brings up that potentially the Hell Knight Order of the Torrent, but that will need to wait for some time.
Probably.
There could even be hidden allies amongst the government itself that could be useful, as he understands that there are some people, particularly amongst the Chelish Navy, that have not been pleased with the events going on in the city. Step 3, in his view, is gathering regional support, that once the Silver Ravens have established that they're settled into their new hideout, that the Ravens should look beyond Kintargo's walls to recruit regional support from other parts of the Archduchy of Ravenel.
Not a bad idea.
Taking whatever defensive preparations they can to ensure that when the rebellion does move to take back Kintargo, Cheliax will not be able to easily interfere if the surrounding regions are also supporting.
Makes sense.
In addition, the Silver Raven should finally look to the city's nobility for support.
Seriously?
As he knows that there are some nobles that never really bowed to House... Well, they bowed to House Thrune, but always just in word and not deed.
Not your family.
I was going to say Lucia would just be like, no, they're not.
A lot of the nobility, once they can feel that the wind is shifting,
They'll shift their alliances because
they'll shift the alliance as well.
expedient, yeah.
Not necessarily the most loyal of allies, but still useful allies.
Yeah, fair enough.
Only after that does he believe that the party could actually take back the city. That once the rebellion has grown strong enough that the Ravens have amassed enough power and regional influence that they'd be able to move against House Throne. He suggests in the meantime, like high-profile missions such as assassination of key government members, operations to rescue important political prisoners, open opposition against the church or state would be a rather bad idea right now.
Yeah.
But once the Ravens have enough support, then essentially they could force Thrune to deal with the rebellion and then force the city to choose a side. Of course, he does stress that once the Ravens take this step, there is no turning back. Because once you attack House Thrune here, House Thrune elsewhere will retaliate.
Makes sense.
True.
Finally, his step 5 is planning for the future. Laria believes that planning such a long-term goal is a waste of time right now, until Thrune is deposed. Rexus believes laying the groundwork and getting things set in motion is a good idea.
Inclined to agree with him.
Basically, we should try to figure out what we're going to do. Like, even if we overthrow Barzillai Throne and the city, even, we get to the point where the city openly rebels, how are we going to protect Kintargo?
Yeah. And what does that look like?
A few hours pass as you go over all of this, hashing out details, getting a general idea. Cesare occasionally glancing out every time that he hears the bells nearby, ringing out another hour. Like a student in his class waiting for the bell.
The bell doesn't dismiss
Bell
you.
doesn't dismiss you.
I do.
Or Raven dismisses you,
That's right.
whichever.
I think we did
Depends on
establish
the day.
Raven.
But after he goes over this, Rexus would just kind of fold up his clipboard, pull down the big easel that he set up so they could have all of his displays.
Nice.
So, yeah, if it seems like we are all on board with this, and I'm ready to help however I can, we just need to choose a direction for now. Someone that we can help, something that we can do to announce ourselves.
Well,
I have an idea.
oh, okay.
I was going to ask Vittoria later for help, but there is a serial killer currently in the Devil's Nursery.
I am actually aware.
They've been killing a person every 2 or 3 days. I feel like if we could track down this killer, the tiefling community might be very well disposed toward assisting us.
I'd be more than willing to help with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's also Clench Jaws, which is in the kind of,
I mean, I
on
thought
our
we were
way
just
there.
going to head down there and have a drink tonight.
That's probably going to be more of a short-term goal, so if we want to do that first, that might
Yeah,
be
well,
good.
and then we
but-
can look. But I mean, where's the investigation at now? Do we have suspects? Or I don't know.
Nope, there is nothing. The Dottari refused to do anything. They haven't even begun looking. Their advice is to not go out at night.
Oh, sure, because that's always helpful.
Yeah, I have the impression that they intend to do nothing. And
Yeah, I'm not surprised by
It's
that.
not surprising.
I mean, that's a
No.
good first start for sure, because we don't have to worry about the Dotari jumping us.
True,
Seems
the
smart to
Dottari
me.
tend to avoid the Devil's Nursery as much as they can. I have not seen one there in at least 2 weeks, possibly 3.
That seems like a pretty easy first start. We get drinks tonight and help with Clench Jaws, and then we spend the rest of our time doing some investigating.
Rexus nods. It sounds like a very good idea.
Thank you.
Also, I can take that Varisian book. A couple of people on Bleak Bridge are from there. They might be able to easily read it, translate it, or something.
In the meantime, I can fill in all of you with the details I know about the murders.
Yeah, whatever you know, that would get us started.
As far as I know, there are currently 3 victims that are confirmed, though there are 2 members of the community currently missing. The first body was found the day after the Night of Ashes. To be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea who it was. Whatever or whoever is doing this has left their victims unrecognizable. The second victim was 2 days later, a laborer named Masver. He'd been working at the Tooth and Nail, and if it weren't for his, well, probably distinctive clothing, I don't think anybody would have realized it was him. He was found in an alley 3 blocks from his home. The third was an acquaintance of mine. Her name was Saria Cooper. I didn't know her very well. I knew her brother better. She was a washerwoman, volunteered at the Cloven Hoof Society, and she was found in the backyard she shared with her brother.
So 2 were found in more public locations, and the third was found in a private residence, basically.
Yes, just right.
I will mention for all of your edification, especially with Devil's Nursery, imagine their yard areas are communal yards.
Yes.
So kind of the way that they have them in England, where there'll be multiple buildings that back up to one communal area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
Imagine more of a tenement square.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are 2 other people missing. A young man named Vel, who is a regular at the soup lines. I haven't seen him in the Cloven Hoof Society for about a week now. The other was a fishmonger, an older chap by the name of Roll Chisholm. His shop has not opened since the morning after the fires.
And everyone has been tieflings.
All of them, yes. All of them are tieflings.
And they're all part of the society?
Not necessarily. They're all tieflings. A few of them are associated with the Cloven Hoof Society. The first one, though, I have no idea who it even was. Masver I saw around occasionally, but he wasn't really a part of the society as such.
And there's no witnesses, even though the bodies have been in public places.
Nobody has come forward.
That doesn't mean they ain't no witnesses. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, is that if somebody knows something they're not telling...
So, to sort of recap, and not just these horrendous murders, but we need to investigate the fires, which I think also includes Rexus's family. I don't think bodies were ever found, if I'm correct.
If they were, that I'm obviously supposed to be dead. So, unfortunately, I don't know if bodies were ever recovered. I wasn't able to get close to my home. The guard were there at the time. But from what I understand, they are no longer patrolling the area.
All right, so we should probably check out all of the locations. I have actually already started my own personal investigation into the areas that were part of the Night of Ashes. And then we definitely need to look into the killings in the Devil's Nursery. And I think having a drink at the Clenched Jaw would be wise tonight to at least gather some intel.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will note, the murders are having the tiefling community on edge. I don't think it would take much to push them to do something violent.
That may be why the Dotari is not investigating.
Perhaps it is.
It wouldn't surprise me if they're hoping something might happen in the Devil's Nurseries for them to enforce even more rules upon the city.
I only speak of it because I feel it is somewhat urgent. But again, we'll figure out what we can when we can. The other thing that I would like to note is that the killer seems to strike every 2 or 3 days.
So we're on a timetable.
Saria died 3 days ago.
Oh no, so it's time for
So
another
something
one.
may be happening soon.
So,
Perhaps.
if we do not need to go to Clinch Jaws tonight, it might be worth patrolling.
We could see if we could catch the killer in the act. Perhaps prevent somebody else from dying.
Not a bad idea.
I'm up for it. I had nothing else to do this evening.
I had class, but I don't think my absence for one night will be missed. And I can always talk to my professor about making it up later.
I mean, yeah, book for me. I otherwise was just gonna go home and make dinner, you know? So, that seems like a much more exciting way to spend my night.
Yes, exciting for sure.
I mean, it's gonna be hard work, but, I mean, stopping a killer? No high calling.
I agree. Then if we're good for it...
My classes are out by early evening, just before nightfall, so I'll be free after then.
Very well. We'll start the patrol probably right as evening falls, and then you'll join us when you can.
Be careful, because I think they still have that curfew going on.
You have 2 hours after sunset before the curfew takes full effect. quite possibly the reason why I think it might have been mentioned in there, but all the murders are believed to have happened at night.
Yeah.
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 So the people may have been in question may have been actually breaking curfew. You're not entirely positive.
Well, and here's the thing:
There may
if
have
the
also been
Atari
fewer
don't
witnesses.
go down there, there's nobody enforcing the curfew for.
Well, no,
Devil's
not in
Nursery.
Devil's Nursery. No.
Yeah.
I don't.
But we
I
all
don't really.
live there.
Yeah.
If you all want to stay in Niccolo's house,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're gonna have to do. But Cesare has plenty of time to get down to the Devil's Nursery before the curfew
Yeah.
starts. It's just none of us are going home. We're all gonna crash on Niccolo's
Oh,
floor.
God, are
Pretty
we gonna
much,
fit?
yes.
You know?
You might have to have a couple of you on the table.
We can always sleep in that horrifying livery.
No.
sure, it's in
Oh.
Devil's Nursery.
That is. Yeah. That's.
You can all
true.
make your triumphant
there an-
return to the vomitorium.
Is
Uh,
oh God, is there an inn in the Devil's Nursery? Could we just rent a room?
No.
yeah, I was like, no.
No.
There are basically flop houses,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I mean, that would
Nobody.
work.
Niccolo's floor it is.
Nobody stays in Devil's Nursery if they can avoid it.
Rexus nods. Well, it sounds like we have a plan, at the very least, in place. So, again, let me know if there's anything that I can do to assist you. And in the meantime, I will be doing everything that I can to decode these documents that you provided me.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
I need to head to the academy. My classes will be starting soon, and the students will rebel and leave if I'm not there on time.
I've got to go buy a portrait and get a book translated, so I can take care of that.
Then we can meet at my house. I'll give you all the address.
Okay.
Well, my flat, I suppose. It's not really a house. Niccolo will give you all his address, basically.
Don't trust the banister.
Actually, yes. And that third step, by the way, there's a nail poking up out of it, so you probably want to avoid that one.
While we're exchanging addresses, I do live at the academy, if you ever need to find me.
Good to know.
The receptionists and the secretaries on the first floor can direct you.
I was just going to say, to my understanding of the way that these ravens work, he holds up his. Knowing where everyone is kind of necessary for using the ravens to contact one another.
Mm-hmm.
Can we see the church or can we see the university from the window where we're at now?
If you open the window and lean out.
Cesare opens the window, leans out, and points to the tower. I live in that tower at the top.
You know,
Made
you're
out of
pretty,
ivory, it seems. No, sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna say that's pretty like on the nose, you know, like a fancy wizard who's an elf lives in a big tower.
And none of the other professors want to climb all the stairs.
To be fair,
Let's give it to the eternally young elf.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the professors are humans, and they're probably old by the time they get, like, teaching positions. I don't know how school works.
I
But-
don't know how.
I suppose
I was privately
Besides,
tutored, thank you very much.
Besides, I don't mind. It gives me quite a bit of privacy. No one's going to notice any ravens coming and going.
That's a good point.
Well, I live on the shop on Bleak Bridge. I mean, we passed it on the way over here.
Nobody cares where I live, so...
Well, we do for sending you ravens.
Well, yes, but I mean, no authority.
I gave you the address.
I
Yeah.
live with Adria.
Oh yeah.
I actually live above Pietro's coffee shop, so
Good to know.
if you ever need to find me, I'm usually not there.
Well, you know.
But you can always leave a message
Good to
with
know.
Pietro.
Also, we'll just leave a raven in your window.
Send a raven.
Cesare writes down his class schedule and hands it over to Rexus, just in case.
Very well. And like I said, I will dig through this and see what I can do about contacting all of you. We should probably make an order of operation for the ravens.
Oh, because we got to pass the message around, yeah?
Yeah, it can only go to one person at a time.
I can message from here. Probably the closest would be I can message Vittoria. She can send a message to Cesare, and then Cesare can message over to the two of you on Bleak Bridge, and then you can message Niccolo.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it works.
So if we ever need to get together, we'll have a little daisy chain of appointments for everyone.
Then do the
Sure.
reverse
So-
if it's like, I have to set up something.
With one raven left because Lucia lives with me.
Well, no, Niccolo, you
Sure.
would go to Rexus, and then he'd start the chain around.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I suppose you stand up to your feet.
Mhm.
I imagine all of you, probably just kind of dusting off your knees as you get back up and get ready to head out. Lucia, you stand up, And it's only this, I imagine Adria probably stepping over towards you since you're leaving together probably kind of catches your shoulder as you shift. As Lucia, now that you step up a little closer, you can see this thin beads of sweat across Lucia's forehead.
Oh, God.
Go ahead and make me a fortitude save, Jordan.
Oh, no!
In fact, let's go ahead and just do that next time.
Oh,
As Lucia starts to go down like a log.
oh no!
I want to live. I'm too pretty to die.
Find the Path Ventures is an officially licensed partner of Paizo Incorporated. Hell's Rebels is copyright 2015. Hell's Rebels and the Pathfinder Adventure Path are trademarks of Paizo. All Pathfinder images are property of Paizo and are used with permission. Find the Path Ventures have converted Hell's Rebels from Pathfinder to Pathfinder Second Edition. Conversion notes are available to our Patreon backers at patreon.com/findthepath.